Starting. Oh, and we are live. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hello, 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 everyone out there in internet and sheer social world. We are today going to me and a good friend of mine, Diana Needham. She is a business consultant and she is a LinkedIn expert. She's my go-to for LinkedIn. So we're going to talk with her today and we're going to share with you some valuable LinkedIn tips so that you can really, really get some really useful, and I stress useful connections and some business leads while you're using LinkedIn. So Diane, I'm going to basically give you the floor and allow you to introduce yourself. Go ahead. Go ahead and
All
introduce yourself, Diane.
Hi, I'm Diana Needham, and I'm excited to be here with you. As Alice just mentioned, I do speak a lot about LinkedIn and share a lot of information about LinkedIn because what I've discovered is that most of us are really confused about how to make it work for us, for our businesses. Um, we don't really understand, and even if we have a presence, we don't really understand how do I use it to get the clients and the right connections to actually help me grow my business. So I've actually been speaking about this, and I have some LinkedIn programs and some resources put together to help small business owners actually figure out how to make this work for them.
Okay. And technically, for those of you who don't even know me, I keep assuming that everybody knows who I am, but in case you don't, I am Alice Fuller, Principal Consultant at Sheer Social, which is a boutique social media marketing consulting business. And I too work with solopreneurs and small business owners to better help you navigate and use these tools of social media marketing to grow your business. So today, once Diane gets through talking about LinkedIn, I'm going to ask her some questions that a lot of people ask me about using LinkedIn. And by the end, hopefully, you should have a strategy and you'll also have an opportunity to learn more and to actually get your hands on Diane's unique formula for leveraging LinkedIn. Okay, so Diane, are you ready to show your PowerPoint presentation?
Well, actually, oh, there it is. I'm trying to do that. There we go. I think I have it.
Booyah, yes you do. Yes you do.
Oh, yes, technology is a wonderful thing when it works. So
Technology is a beautiful thing when it
it
works.
it
It is.
is. It's an
It is.
amazing thing when it works, and I'm excited that we are able to share with you today. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how you actually leverage LinkedIn to grow your business. As I just mentioned, there's a lot of confusion out there, and even for those who have a presence on LinkedIn, we really don't know how to use it to grow your business. So in the probably 45 minutes or so we have today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why leveraging LinkedIn, which is the premier professional social media platform, might be critical to your business success. Now, one of the first things I say when I talk about LinkedIn is I am not here to tell you that this is the platform that you have to be on. It really is dependent on where your ideal clients are and where your best referral partners are. So we're going to talk a little bit about why this might be a place for you to consider to grow your business. And then I'm going to share 3 secrets, which is all about, just like everything else that has to do with social media or your business and a lot of other things. The first thing you have to do is get your foundation in place and know what your strategy is. You then need to create what I'm calling your authority persona. Who is the person that you want your ideal client to see when they check you out on LinkedIn? And whether you like it or not, people are checking you out and they're landing on your page and they're looking at what's there. So the question is, how do you feel about what they see? So creating your authority persona there is important. And only then, after you've got the foundation and you have your profile built out, are you ready to really get connected with the people that can help you grow your business. So you might be here and saying, well, what is the big deal? I know that LinkedIn is out there. I've got a profile, but why should I even care about it? Here are some statistics, and for some people, they're really surprised to know that this platform has 300 million users across 200 countries. So what does that really mean? It means it's hard for us to imagine there's 300 million of anything, right, Alice?
Yeah. Except for many cells. I can imagine 300 million cells in the body. Other than that, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, 300 million users across 200 countries. So here's the thing. If you have a product or a service that you can deliver via Skype, via webinar, via telephone, via some sort of electronic means, that means that you have, in essence, an international audience on this platform. And these people are here looking to network. This is not the place where you're going to see people sharing pictures of their pets, their vacation last week, what they had for dinner last night, or airing their political views. For the most part, the people here are here to network, and 72% of them are decision makers. So if you're trying to get your foot in the door inside a, you're looking for a big speaking engagement with an organization, the people that make those decisions and decide who's speaking on their stage, who's presenting in front of their audience, who they're going to bring in are actually here on this platform, and there are ways that you can actually connect with them directly. And we're twice as likely to believe what we see on LinkedIn than what we see on the other platforms. So Alice, I know that you do a lot of teaching and training around social media. Would you say that's true, that we're twice as likely to believe what we see on LinkedIn than Facebook and Twitter?
Yes, because once again, when we start talking about business, we often, add more a layer of more seriousness to LinkedIn, because your pictures from the party or from your vacation aren't generally shared on LinkedIn. You generally don't have as many pictures and profile pictures and things of that nature that are changing every week, depending on your mood. On LinkedIn. But here's the interesting thing too, though, about LinkedIn, because where LinkedIn is concerned, I've learned that LinkedIn has become the new dating spot to pick up people, literally, because the credibility of the information that's there. So it's like, well, if I'm trying to find a guy or a girl who literally has a job and has a source of income, then maybe LinkedIn should be where I need to go instead of Match.com.
That's a very interesting perspective. I guess I'll keep my eye out for connection requests from people looking to connect for that reason.
Well, they're not going to tell you that. They're going to try to make it.
No, I know. Yeah.
They're going to try to make it look professional as possible.
Yeah, it's interesting. But we are twice as likely to believe what we see on LinkedIn, because and all of us most of us navigate on the other social media platforms as well. The thing is, when you step into LinkedIn, when you log into LinkedIn, I want you to think about, you're leaving Facebook, where you might consider that like the cocktail party. People are mingling, we're sharing pictures, we're talking about, it's so funny, my 5th grade teacher just had her 80th birthday yesterday.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, that woman kicks butt on Facebook. She's got a group set up for the students of the school that she taught. She taught 4th grade for a while, then she taught 5th grade. And she's got hundreds of people on this page. Wow. And she finds all these old pictures out of yearbooks and all this stuff. And she is just an amazing woman who was a big influence on my life. And yesterday was her 80th birthday. And it was so fun to watch all the pictures on her page, and she posted pictures of the flowers that got delivered to her house, and it was just so delightful to watch that. But I'm over here on Facebook looking at her birthday stuff, and I'm just so grateful to be part of her life and be able to celebrate. She's 80. Who knows how long she's going to be here. That was so fun. But then when I come over here to LinkedIn, I got to kind of leave that social piece and all the things that go on Facebook, leave it behind, and envision that I'm stepping into the boardroom. LinkedIn is a very different environment. There's things that are quite acceptable on the other social media platforms that you would never do here. So, Alice, what was in the last boardroom that you were in?
Oh, the last boardroom I was in, it's kind of dry. A table, chairs, the typical TV on one end. What you call the cupboard that or the slide thing that the TV sits in or whatever. Just very dry, and a sense of we're not here for your emotional value.
Yeah. I mean, in my background, and I spent 26 years in large corporate in the banking industry, I saw a lot of different boardrooms, and generally there was a long polished mahogany table with, as you said, the technology kind of behind a screen or behind closed folding doors. Back in the day, we had video conferencing equipment in the room. We had a conference phone, and there was not one shred of paper anywhere. And generally, it was guarded by a not so friendly woman that sat outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just a very different environment. So, it's important to understand that you have to treat this a little differently than the other social media platforms. The really big news for entrepreneurs is that, and a lot of us struggle with finding people that can actually afford our products and services. So it's always an astounding thing for people to hear that the average household income of the professional on LinkedIn is $109,000. So if you're struggling to find the people that actually have disposable income that can afford to buy what they decide they need or decide what that they want, this is the place to consider. But as I said earlier, I'm not here to tell you that this is the place that you have to be here. There are really two questions to ask yourself. Because when you make a commitment to LinkedIn or any other social media platform, you really are making a commitment that you're going to be there, and you're going to spend some time there, and you're going to engage, you're going to invest something. So before you commit to this, ask yourself two questions. The first question is, are my ideal clients professionals? So for just a second, I want you to see that ideal client, that person that you love to work with. They energize you. They respect you. They do what you ask. They take your direction. They pay on time. You're not chasing them for payment. They're in most cases, our ideal clients are just like us. We click with them because we're the same. We're on the same wavelength. Maybe we have the same background. Maybe we've been through the same challenge that they have. And so there's a natural connection with them. So think about your ideal client, and I want you to see a person. Is that person a professional? Yes or no? And when I say is that person a professional, it could be that this person is working. They're in the corporate space. They're a manager. They're a supervisor. They're working, and that's your market. Maybe your market is chiropractors or holistic practitioners or professional women or whatever it is, entrepreneurs. Alice and I, we're looking for entrepreneurs to work with. I'm looking for authors to work with because a big part of my business is working with authors and creating a marketing strategy that works for them. So the question is your ideal client a professional, yes or no? Even if the answer to that is no, here's the second question. Are your best referral partners professionals? So when you think about the people that can actually help you build your business, aligning yourself with really strong referral partners who already have your ideal client, but they sell them something different. That's the key. They sell them something different. So to give you a live example, I just said I work a lot with authors. So an ideal referral partner for me is somebody that does formatting, somebody that does that is a writing coach, someone that does cover design, someone that works with them on pulling that story out that they're going to put in their book. Those people are all professionals. So one of my focuses on LinkedIn right now is finding those people to connect with. So two questions are your ideal clients professionals? And are your best referral partners professionals? And if the answer is yes to one or both of those questions, I highly recommend that you at least consider having a presence here. Does that make sense, Alice?
Indeed, it does.
Okay, awesome. So let me just go into these 3 secrets. The first one is you have to get your foundation in place. It's just like everything else. You need a strategy. And what most of us do, and I did it too, I was out on LinkedIn for a long time before I actually figured out how to use it as an entrepreneur. I used it a lot in the corporate space. You really need to figure out your strategy and target the people that can help you grow your business, right? And most of us, we have connections, but we've gathered them somewhat willy-nilly, right? They've come into our box and we accepted them, or they're colleagues from the past. They may or may not have any relevance to what we're doing today, but we've got this group of connections. From here forward, I would encourage you to really think about your strategy. Why are you here on LinkedIn? If you answered yes to the questions I just asked, why are you here on LinkedIn, and who is it that you want to connect with? And write that out. What is my strategy? Who is it that I want to connect with? And then the next logical question is, how am I going to do that? But you first have to have a strategy and a goal. It might, for some people that I work with, I tell them your first goal is to get to 500 plus connections. Because when you have 500 plus connections, and that's what shows on your page, people perceive you differently than when they land on your page and you have 178. So it's really about developing a strategy, setting some goals for yourself, and getting out there and making it happen. So the second thing is really you have to cover the basics. So now that you have a strategy, you know who you're looking for and how you want them to help you, you really have to start at the very top. So if you think about how your LinkedIn profile lays out right now, the very first thing they see is your picture. Your picture on LinkedIn needs to be a professionally done headshot, preferably of you smiling and welcoming them to your page. It's the very first thing that they see. So Alice, let me ask you, have you ever gone to a conference or some sort of live networking meeting and you were really excited because you were going to meet for the first time some people that you met on social media, and you got there and somebody walked up to you and they're shaking your hand, they go, "Oh, Alice, I'm so glad to meet you. This is, and they're very animated and they clearly know who you are. And you're looking at this face going, I have no idea who you are." And it's embarrassing. And I find myself like searching for the name badge, like, who is this person? Because the person in front of me doesn't look like anybody that I've ever connected with on social media. So it's important that your picture be fairly current. And so for the ladies that are listening to this, I know we change our hairstyle. We sometimes change our hair. I mean, we change a lot of things, but people should be able to recognize you. And that picture shouldn't be your high school or your college graduation picture that's 20 years old.
20, how about 30?
And it shouldn't be like cropped out of a vacation picture or with your pet, or, this is the professional social media platform. So, when someone lands on your page, they first see your picture and it needs to be a welcoming and current professional photo. And I have to tell you, sometimes I'm surprised people that have no photo at all. Or I received a connection request from one guy and his profile photo was a cartoon character from The Simpsons. He seemed really well connected. He had his profile was very impressive. I guess his goal was to grab your attention, which he certainly did, but it was very odd. A cartoon character would not be what you want to use for your profile picture.
Diane, what do you think about people who use business logos instead of personal photos?
I would not do that. This is, we connect with people. And Alice, I know you teach that too. We connect with people, not with logos, not with businesses, not with companies, not with your mission statement. We connect with people. So I would always use a personal photo. And this is all about like creating your authority persona. So you are an expert at what you do. And when I say expert, all that really means is you know more than the person that you're trying to help. We all know more than the person we're trying to help. It doesn't mean you know everything there is to know about your topic. Certainly, I don't know everything about my topic. And Alice, I'm guessing you would say you don't know everything there is to know about social media. But we know more than the person we're trying to help, and we're willing to help them. That's my definition of an expert. I know more than my prospect or the person I'm here to help, and I'm willing to help them. That's all we need. And you don't go around calling yourself the expert. What you want to do is do the right things consistently so that other people call you the expert. So this is all about creating that, I'm calling it your authority persona. How do you want to present yourself to the world? And I think that your pictures across all the social media platforms should be the same. So when somebody sees you on one platform, they recognize you, cross-platform, that you're not using different pictures. The next thing that they see is your headline. Now, I call it a headline. LinkedIn calls it your title. Think about the headline of a newspaper and think about keywords, and that LinkedIn is a search engine, so that what you want to have as your headline is the keyword that people would be searching if they're going to Google and they're looking for what you offer. So a lot of people will put owner, or they'll put founder as their headline. Trust me, no one is searching for the owner or the founder. They might be searching for a business coach, a social media consultant, a chiropractor, a wellness practitioner, whatever the keyword is that people would be searching on Google is what goes into your headline. For some people, it's important to them that they have something after that talks about their specialty. So for example, one of my local clients here is a female chiropractor, and her whole focus is women's health and women's wellness. So her headline on LinkedIn says chiropractor specializing in women's health, because she honestly would prefer that men not show up at her door. So you can actually put some sort of qualifier if you're specializing, you have a specialty area. But your headline should be a keyword that people are searching, because people are searching on LinkedIn too. We go out there looking for resources. We look for vendors. We look for services. We're keying. So it's important that you have the right keywords in your headline. So Alice, is there anything you'd add to that?
Well, I think sometimes it's okay to, if you are a CEO, because for those individuals that are looking for the chief executive officer or the persons who work in the C-suite, you may not use owner, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you are the CEO, or maybe vice president and things of that nature. Those types of titles, I think, help pull you apart from somebody who happens just to be the day-to-day manager.
Yeah, well, and yes, especially true if you're using LinkedIn to get your foot in the door, or to find a job. And a lot of titles are important. The next thing, when people see your photo and then they see your headline, the next thing, if they like what they see, now if we don't like what we see there, or if we see a picture or you have no picture, or there's something different about, something strange about the picture, we might glance at the headline and we're away from your page. If we like what we see, we like the picture, the headline speaks, it says, what you do. Then the next thing that we read is your summary. And here's where I see a lot of places, opportunities for improvement, I'll put it that way, for how we actually construct our summary. Now, if you're looking for a job, and a lot of people are using LinkedIn because they're looking for a job, your profile is structured like a resume, and you're hoping that a recruiter or a hiring manager actually finds you because you want a job, you're looking for a job inside their company. When you're an entrepreneur using LinkedIn, it's really the same concept, but your content is different. As an entrepreneur, you're hoping that your ideal clients find you. You are still the talent, but you're going to word your summary in a different way. So you're going to talk to them, speak. It's not about you. I was just working last week with one of my clients, and she said, well, would you go look at my profile and, give me some suggestions? And that first paragraph said, I. And I shot a little video tutorial, and I said, the first thing I would fix is this is not about you. It's not about you. Your summary should speak to the problem that you solve for clients. So I would, turn that around. Speak to the pain of the person that's looking for what the solution that you have. Are you struggling with this? Like 3 pain points. What are the top 3 challenges this ideal client has? And then you say something like, I want you to know it doesn't have to be that way. How do I know? I'm Alice Fuller, and I help, I'm talking off the top of my head, but I'm Alice Fuller, and I help entrepreneurs sort through all of the chaos around social media and land on a strategy that works for them. And then you say, when people work with me, these are the results that they get. Now, here's the biggest thing that's missing off the summary. So I see your photo, I see your headline, I read this, and I think, wow, man, I think she looks like she can help me. Then the summary just ends. You never tell me what to do next. That is the biggest missing piece. So you really have to think about, what do you want that reader to do next? Do you want them to pick up the phone and call you for a consultation? If that's your business model, say that. Say, if you're struggling with these things, call me at this number for your 30-minute complimentary, whatever you're calling your session, your consultation call. Call it something. Put a name on it. If that's not your model, you really don't want people to call you. You want them to come to your website and get this special report or tips or a video or an audio, some free thing that you have. Tell them what to do. Say, if these are challenges that you have, go to http://www, my website, to get your special report, 9 secrets for turning your connections into cash, that will show you how to leverage LinkedIn to grow your business. You got to tell me where to go specifically. Give me the URL. Tell me what it is, and tell me why I should care. Because now you're asking me to leave LinkedIn and come over to your website. So you have to tell me, what is the value that I'm going to get out of this free thing that you have? So ask them to call you, invite them to your website if you have a free something that you want to get them on your list. If you don't have anything right now, maybe you're working on your free gift, or you're not sure what it should look like, you're just starting your business. At a minimum, say, connect with me here. Use this email, and I will actually put my email address there. Why? Because if they click that blue button to connect, they're on my profile, they click that blue button to connect with me, depending on whether they have any relationship with me at all, LinkedIn might ask them for my email address. I want to make it easy. So I actually put the email address at the bottom of my summary so they can just copy and paste it. And that email address is always branded. It's not diana.needham@gmail. It's diana@linksmallbusiness.com. It's branded. So might you think that I know something about LinkedIn? I would hope so. So these are the basics: your photo, your headline, and your summary. It's important to get those right before you actually head off and start connecting with people. Does that make sense, Alice?
Yep, definitely does.
Okay. So now that you've got that foundation in place, you know why you're here, you've worded your profile so that it speaks to the person you want to connect with, then you start connecting. One of the key strategies that I teach my clients is to find the groups where their ideal clients and their referral partners are and engage. Well, and engage, that means get into the group, watch the conversation, watch the discussions, contribute, offer resources, share things that you know, answer questions, get your face and your name in front of these people. This is called social media for a reason. So, the groups are really a gold mine. And one of the things that I've noticed that a lot of us do is that we hang with groups of our peers.
Mm-hmm.
So just know if you do that, then don't expect you're going to get a lot of business from LinkedIn, because the groups that you're in are all looking for clients too, and you're all hanging together. Now, that doesn't mean that you aren't in any groups like coaching groups or authoring groups or social media groups, whatever your field of specialty is. It doesn't mean you aren't in those groups, but don't spend the majority of your time there. Find the groups where your ideal client, go back to that image of that ideal client that I ask you to see right now. What groups would that ideal client be in? And here's a gold tip. The clients that you love to work with, or previous clients that you love to work with, go check them out on LinkedIn and look at what groups they're in. You know that adage, birds of a feather flock together?
Mm-hmm.
You might discover, if you poke around with the profiles of the ideal clients you have right now, that there is a consistent theme, that these people all seem to be part of a specific kind of group, or maybe they're part of, if you see 3 of 5 ideal clients in a given group, I would say go check that group out, because there's probably more of them in that group. You also always want to send a customized connection request, and I know this is a pain. I know that a lot of my clients are really upset because if you are on an iPad or an iPhone, you can't do this. For some reason, and I don't quite understand this, I mean, LinkedIn is built by a bunch of propeller heads, but for some reason,
Did you call them propeller heads?
Yeah, for some reason, they haven't figured out the integration with the iPhone or the iPad. So if you're on an iPhone, well, if you're on any sort of device other than your laptop, your interface with LinkedIn is going to look different.
Yeah.
And so if you send a connection request, there's no way for you to get to that screen that I just mentioned to send a customized note to anybody. The only way you can do that is if you can get to my profile page and you click that blue button to connect with me, then it will take you to a page that lets you write me a little note. And you can't do it from your iPad or your iPhone right now. Hopefully they're working on this. But I always encourage you to send a customized request. Why? Because it's called the social media platform for a reason. If you send me a note and you say, "Hi, Diana, I heard you on the Hangout with Alice, and I disagree with what you had to say about titles or headlines or whatever, but I got a few good tips." When that comes into my inbox, that's the first thing I check. When I get new connection requests, the first thing I check is, did that person send me a customized request, or did they send me that canned request that says, "I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn"? Alice, when you get those kind of generic requests, what do you think about the person that sent it?
It really kind of depends for me. Generally speaking, if I know that individual, then it's pretty much a given, then I want to connect with them. If that individual, you can usually see, the little blurb in their title, and we're in the same business or related business, then generally I have a tendency to look at their profile and see whatever else we may have in common. And if indeed it is somebody that can help my business grow, or somebody that I might want to partner with in the future, then yes, we connect.
Okay.
But somebody that I'm like, why? How in the world did you even find me here? Were you searching, or I can't imagine we're in the same groups, because LinkedIn generally will tell you if you're in the same group. And it's like, well, how did you come across my little neck of the woods of LinkedIn to begin with? And
Mm-hmm.
and then why do you want to connect with me just out of the blue
Right,
without any introduction?
right. And and again, I know this frustrates the iPhone and iPad folks. But honestly, if you're going to engage, send a customized request. And here's another key tip. If you have somebody, like I just said, I work a lot with authors. So I'm working with some author clients right now, and they want to get endorsements for their books from
Mhm.
some big names like
Yeah.
Jack Canfield. One of them is like, they have their eye on Jack Canfield would be the ideal person that she wants to write an endorsement for her book. What did she do? She got to an event where he was speaking,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you can connect with them on social media with a personal note. So, another key thing just to tuck in the back of your head here is, if you're looking for key decision makers or people that could really help you scale your business, JV partners, referral partners, and they're really important. They're very well known and they're very well connected. Go where they're speaking. Go get on their webinar, right? Get on their teleclass. And then when it's over, go to LinkedIn and find them and send them a personal note. Again, you got to go to their profile, you got to click on that blue box, send them a note and say, hi, Alice, it was so great to be on your Hangout. I loved what you had to say about XYZ. Let's connect here. Now, when that lands in your box, that's very different than that canned request. So I always tell people to send customized requests, because the last thing you want is for people to view you as a spammer.
That's true.
So
Well,
if you send a lot of these requests, these generic requests to people that don't really know you, it doesn't take too many people that click on this little button that says, I don't know Alice, or I don't know Diana, before LinkedIn raises an eyebrow about who you are and what you're using this platform to do.
okay, so well, here's we need a workaround, because even if that does happen and you're on their webinar or you're on their fan page, or you meet them at an event, LinkedIn now has these roadblocks per se, because you don't know their email, you've never worked with them before, I forgot, there's like 5 different things you're supposed to be able to have. You haven't worked at the same place. So how do you work around that in order to even send an email if you're not paying for the premium version?
Well, one way to do that is to find a group that person's in. Right. So, if you're in a group that they're in and you send them a request to say, I'm so excited, I just discovered this XYZ group. I see we're both members. That's what you have to find, a common ground.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, and maybe it's just me, I don't have any barriers when I go to when I go to send a connection request. Even if I'm not in a group, I can actually send a request and not have them ask me for an email address or anything else. So, the key is just to be aware. And again, this is about having a clear strategy. Who is it you want to connect with? How can you find a common ground to send them a customized connection request? And something else that I do that not very many people do, and I would encourage you to think about it, is to send a follow-up email with all new connections. So when somebody comes in and sends me a connection request, as I have like 56 of them sitting in my box right now that haven't sent me a note, and I don't know who they are, and I haven't had time to go look at their profile. But when I connect with somebody, I will send them, as soon as I connect, I will send them a message. And the title of the message always is "Great to Connect Here." And the body of it, and again, you can set this up as a template. It's copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Please change the first name, but copy and paste. And it says, hi, Paul. It was so great to meet you at the Chamber After Hours Mixer last week. Let's connect here. And so you send that and they go, oh yeah, boy, gosh, there was 200 people at that Chamber Mixer last Wednesday. She must have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you heard them speak, you say something about, I loved what you had to say about XYZ. And so I always send them a follow-up. I always send them a thank you for connecting. And if I don't know them, I look at their profile and I see that they're well connected, or they're connected to somebody I know, but I don't really know them. I might ask the question, would you mind sharing what prompted you to reach out here? I'm always curious how people find me here. Have a great week. Sometimes people will respond and they'll tell me things. They're like, well, I met you at this thing, or, you know, so-and-so told me I should connect, or you came up in my do you know list, or, you know, it's always an interesting thing. I always send back a customized note when I connect with somebody. Again, this is all about building relationships. Anything you'd add to that, Alice?
No, at the end of the day, like you said, it's all about really opening a door so that you can put out the welcome mat, basically, so that you can build a relationship, or at least, if you can't build a relationship, at least start a conversation.
Well, you know, and depending on what's on the, like right now, I just said one of my strategies is to find people that are helping authors write a book, or they're doing formatting, or they're ghostwriter, or they're doing something. Authors are in their purview. I will actually, when I respond back I will say something like, I'd love to learn more about your business. Are you open to setting up a virtual coffee chat? And most of them will respond and say, yeah, that would be great. And I will just ask. The answer is always no unless we ask.
True.
So the big question really is, I've said a lot of things, and hopefully you've taken some notes and you've gotten some value out of this conversation that we're having today. But the big question is, how do I make it work for me and my business? Because it's one thing to hear these things and say, and I talked about the summary and how it should be constructed and have a call to action at the end, but it all sounds great until you're staring at a blank screen and you're not sure exactly how to word it, or how to go about it. I work with a lot of people that I just tell them, work all this out on a Word document, send it to me, and we'll work on it together. But the question of how do I make it work for me and my business is one that I hear over and over as a challenge, especially for entrepreneurs trying to find the right people and build their network on LinkedIn. So what I put together, and this has been a culmination of a few years now of teaching how to leverage LinkedIn to grow your business. I have a program that I put together called the LinkedIn Leverage Formula, 6 steps to more clients, more profits, and more authority with less selling. What I've discovered is most of us don't like the selling part. It's much more comfortable for most of us to build the relationship and then lead to a conversation that leads to an interest in what we have to offer. So this LinkedIn Leverage Formula is actually 7 recorded modules. The first one, I really go into this LinkedIn foundation and your strategy. You first have to lay out your strategy. So it's about figuring out who you want to connect with, how you're going to connect with them, and like the timing. You might say, oh my gosh, now that I understand this platform, there's 500 people I want to connect with. Well, you're not going to connect with 500 people tonight. Not if you're going to send them a customized request, you're not, unless you're really quick at copy and paste and you're going to stay up till 3 a.m. So it's about pacing, and it's about figuring out what my strategy is and who do I need to connect with in what order. Once you figure that out, it's about figuring out how to lay out your profile top to bottom. And I actually have created a document called the LinkedIn Guide, which is something I sell on my website, that is top to bottom, section by section, screenshot on the left, instruction on the right of what goes in each section and how do you write it. And it's even color coded. So there are 8 sections you need to have to be 100% complete, for your profile to be 100% complete. Then there's a set of sections that they're the next priority, and then there's a set of sections that I call sort of window dressing. If you've got something to put in there, great. If you don't worry about it. So this document really lays it out top to bottom exactly how you put together your profile, and that we spend a lot of time talking about that in Module 2. So once we have that, then it's about getting recommendations. So if I've come to your LinkedIn profile, I see the picture, I see the headline, I read the summary, and I go, oh, she looks like she could help me. If I'm really interested, the next thing I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see what have other people said about you. So if your recommendations on LinkedIn are over a year old, or you don't have any at all right now, this whole module is around how do you go get the right ones, and how do you guide those people to write it in such a way that your ideal client will resonate with what it is that they put on your profile. Module 4 is about the groups, and we just talked a little bit about how do you look at groups, how do you figure that out. And I actually have 2 modules around groups because there's so much to talk about around that. And they really are a gold mine if you know how to find them and how to use them. In Module 6, I talk about your company page. I get a lot of questions about, do I need a company page? It's free, and I say, why not? So this module is really how-to. How do I set up my company page? And then there's also Module 7 is really a live Q&A call where there were 2 people in the audience that asked me to hop over live and look at their profile and critique it. Now, this is after they've gone through the course. This is after they have heard the other modules and they've started to put some of this in place. They asked me to go look at their profile and give them some recommendations on how they can make it even more effective. So that's a bonus recorded Q&A call that's part of the program. So for the folks that are here on the Hangout, I so appreciate you spending your time with us here. I've actually put together a fast action bonus that's good until Monday at midnight, June 15th. That's next Monday. And it's a LinkedIn profile makeover where I will actually go and look at your profile, and I'll do a video. I'll just put on my headset, I'll go to your profile, and I will comment starting at the top with some ideas and suggestions for making it more powerful to attract the prospects and the partners that you really want. I can do this at the beginning of the program. Most people, I recommend that we do it towards the end of the program, actually after you've been able to implement some of the key things that I teach in the recorded program. So here's the deal. Alice kind of twisted my arm here, and we've come up with a special price for the people that are here on the Hangout. The investment for the program is $197, and I guarantee 100% money back guaranteed. If you listen to all this training and you apply what is taught, and I want you to see for yourself. And if in 30 days you say, you know what, I tried this and I didn't get any connections, I met nobody that helped me grow my business, then no worries, we'll give you a full refund. So there's really no risk here. And Alice, I don't know if I don't have the chat box open. If you can grab that link, or I can put it in the chat when we finish the slide share here.
I'll definitely put it in the YouTube description.
Okay.
So when people are looking at it, and even in the replay, they can always click that, and it'll go straight over to the website.
Yep. And that special price of $197 will be available. The special bonus, is only good until Monday the 15th, the LinkedIn Makeover. That's an extra piece. And it would be my honor to actually help you leverage this powerful platform. I know what it's done for me and for my business and for my clients. And one of the things that I didn't share, and a lot of people ask me, am I paying? I mean, do I have a premier account with LinkedIn? The answer is no. My reach on LinkedIn, before they stopped showing it on the screen, they just recently took that away. My reach on LinkedIn is 22 million. Now that might sound like a big number, but in comparison to 300 million, I think I still have a little bit of work to do there. But I have grown my reach on LinkedIn to 22 million with a free account. So what I would say to you is, if you're strategic and you're connecting with the right people, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. A lot of mine was like trial and error. I'm actually handing you the recipe. I'm handing you the roadmap of how to make this work for you. And I promise it will make a big difference in your business if you just follow it. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us today. And Alice, I don't know if you've got some questions there. I'm happy to stay and answer.
I do have some questions for you. I'm going to play a little devil's advocate with you, just a little bit.
Okay, I think I'm going to come out of screen share here.
Mm-hmm. And so while you do that, there's a couple of questions I do want to ask, and I hear this a lot, and I'm hearing some other questions too pop up in reference to LinkedIn. So one of the main questions I get, especially when it comes down to sheer numbers of things, you know, everybody gets so very, very caught up in, oh, I got 10,000 followers here. I've got, you know, I've got 5,000 likes on a fan page. And then when it comes down to LinkedIn and you're saying that, you know, you need to have at least 500 plus because of the perception. But the question is, and I hear this a lot, some people will say, well, look, even if I have 500, I don't know the majority of those people, and I'm not going to do business with them. So do I get the 500 for the perception, or do I get the 500 and really have 500 people that I can potentially do business with?
Well, that's a great question, and I hope I didn't lead anybody to think about this is all about the numbers, but in some sense it actually is. But you want to make sure that they're high quality contacts. So when I start working with somebody and they've got 178 connections, and I say your first goal is to get to 150 or to get to 500 plus. Now we don't know if it's 501 or 3,782. Because we only see on that screen 500 plus, and that's all, you know, that's the perception we're trying to build. But I encourage people to just get out a sheet of paper and start thinking about all the people that they know. We know people from our networking groups. We know people from leads groups. We know people from our community. We know people from our spiritual community. We have current clients that we probably haven't connected with. Mm-hmm. And if you want them to refer, it would be nice if you connected with them on social media. We have previous clients. Most of us have had a job. You know, one of the things I've been doing recently is thinking about, you know, in my 26 years career in the banking industry, where are those key decision makers now? And might they be able to help me? Mm-hmm. Most of them have moved on. They're doing something, you know, when two big banks merge, and, you know, I was with a bank that was bought by Chase, you know, people move on, they're doing different things. Perhaps they would be a great referral partner for me. Maybe they know somebody that's writing a book. So digging back through that, but back to your question, it's really about the quality of connections. It really is. And it's about having a strategy that makes sense. Now, ideally, when you're researching people to connect with, if you're looking at people that are sitting at 500 plus, and you connect authentically, and I think that's another part of your question, Alice, is connecting authentically, then what you're going to find is that your reach will expand exponentially. Mm-hmm. As opposed to connecting with people that, you know, they just started on LinkedIn, they've got under 100. But it is all about building relationships. And, well, and that's the same thing as Facebook and Twitter. Really, it's all about building relationships.
But then too, you can also use, you know, you could incorporate your email, your Yahoo. I'm thinking too, you can probably still do maybe Gmail or some of the other emails that you've had. Usually the people that are in your email contact list are the people that you probably know or have done business with. And that could be a good Kickstarter, if nothing else, to get you at least, you know, maybe 100 or so.
Right. Well, and just think about it. Maybe you're the exception, Alice. And I know you're the exception to a lot of things. But yeah, maybe you're the exception. But do you have business cards sitting on your desk from meetings that you've gone to in the last 30 days and people you haven't connected with yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I do too. In fact, I was just looking, I spoke last week to a local group here about LinkedIn, and there were two gentlemen that were kind enough. They talked to me afterward. They gave me their business cards. I haven't connected with them yet.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just looked at the business cards that we have,
Yeah.
you know, and even if it was, you saw them over the holidays, it's never too late to, you know, to reach out and say, you know, hi, Bob. It was great to meet you at the Christmas, I hope your 2015 is off to a great start. Let's connect here. How long does that take? Copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. There you go. Change the first name, please.
Then, okay, so then my next question is in reference to groups. As much as I like Facebook groups, I mean, not Facebook, well, this is true for Facebook, but we're talking about LinkedIn too today. So where LinkedIn is concerned, you know, everybody and their cousin seemingly has a blog post, and now that you can use long form publishing, people have a tendency to just use the groups to dump content. It's like a dump and run or a hit and run. And in some instances, unless the manager or the owner of the group is really there moderating or trying to generate a discussion, I just see a lot of, here's my blog post, or here's my event, here's my webinar, or sometimes it gets a little crazy depending what group you're in. Sometimes it seems like so unrelated to what the group is about. And you don't see real conversations going on. You don't see people literally going in there, not even giving people a like. They don't engage. They're just there to dump their content. What's your feedback on that?
Well, those are certainly not the kind of people that you want to be hanging with. And I think, it becomes, and part of it is we have become we somehow think in our brain that all of these social media platforms are the same. So it's okay to just copy and paste. You just said dump and run, and we really don't think about who's my audience here. Your audience on Twitter is not the same as your connections on LinkedIn. Your professional connections on LinkedIn don't care necessarily about some of the things that you're posting on Twitter or what you're putting on Facebook. So you have to really be careful. And the other thing about groups is that every group is owned by a person, and that owner of that group has rules, and they set up this group for a reason. So in my module where I talk about groups, I actually kind of walk through how do you go assess a group and whether or not you should be a part of it. And part of it is looking at the rules. I mean, if this group is only for discussion and I can't promote, I can't post, I can't invite people to my webinar, there are some groups where you can't. And so the question then becomes, is being a part of that group, is that really going to help my business? And I have withdrawn from groups because of that, because if I can't share, then it really doesn't help me. And you also need to look at engagement. How many people, some of these groups are dead. I mean, honestly, they're dead. Nothing is happening. No one is posting, or if the last post was February, then why would you want to expend any time posting anything? And you're right. I mean, it is becoming, LinkedIn is, because they now have opened the blog platform to everybody, there's all sorts of things being posted there that may or may not be fit in with what you think this professional network is all about.
Okay. Well, that leads to my next question about enhancing your LinkedIn platform, your LinkedIn profile with content. We all have heard a gazillion times, content is king, content is king. But the reality of it is, a lot of people, when they are beginning to build, especially their authority, and they're beginning to build their LinkedIn profile, they may not have content. Or if they do, they don't know how do I get this SlideShare presentation onto LinkedIn? How do I get a YouTube video? And I see that, at least in the people that I'm dealing with on LinkedIn, a lot of time, I'm not seeing a lot of people take advantage of adding that kind of content that makes you appear to be the authority to their actual profile? Do you think it's because people don't know, or is it because maybe at the beginning stages they don't have the content?
Probably some of both. I mean, at the beginning, some folks don't have content, and we all hear you have to be creating content. You need a blog. You need information. Video is a big thing. So in some cases, I think people don't, and then those of us who do, sometimes we don't consciously think about, oh my gosh, I could put that on LinkedIn. When you look at your summary, if you go into the edit function in your summary on LinkedIn, you'll see that there's a place to attach files. So you can attach presentations and SlideShare and and there are different platforms, formats that they accept. So you have to do a little bit of digging and a little bit of research. But in and of itself, when you land on a LinkedIn profile, in and of itself, it's pretty bland.
Yeah.
Right? It's a square box with sections, and it reads this way. If you don't have any blog post, or you're not blogging with an image at the top, you don't have any videos, you don't have anything down here at the bottom, it's not colorful. You really need to add some color and some spice, and you want to keep people on your page. You want them to read what you have.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Are you finding that now that more people are using the native blog tool on LinkedIn, that it's really helping get more connections for people and building their authority for your clients?
I think it is, if done well, and I think too that one of the key parts, and this is really a skill that at least I have to work on it too, is what the headline.
Mm-hmm.
If the headline for your post doesn't grab people's attention, then they're not going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I have a client right now, and they're doing a lot of things on LinkedIn, and he's, well, why are we not getting the kind of engagement? I say, tell me what did get engagement. And he tells me, I said, that's because of the headline. So go, I gave him some resources around how do you write a good headline. A good headline on LinkedIn is the same as a good headline on your blog, which is the same as a good headline on anything else that you're writing. A headline is a headline.
Mm-hmm.
We are drawn, if you can tie it to the news, right? If you can tie it to something going on in the world, it's much more powerful. It has to have a title that's enticing, that's going to pull people in to read it. That's the key.
Okay, then one last question. Now that LinkedIn does give you a little bit of analytical as far as how many times your page is being viewed and how much traffic your page is getting on particular days, do you find that to be useful, or is that something that you can live with or live without? It really doesn't help.
Well, when you have a free account, it's somewhat limited. You do have some statistics. I don't stress over how many people have. When I look at who's looked at my page in the last week, primarily it's the people that I've met. It's the people that I've met locally. It's the people where I've been speaking. It's people that I have interacted in some way. Maybe I just talked a little bit ago about virtual coffee. Maybe I've just had a call with them or Skype call with them. That's where I'm seeing that I'm getting people coming to actually see my profile. I don't stress about that. I will say that it's important to post an update. So even if you're not blogging, maybe you're not ready to blog, but post an update, post a tip, post a video that you want to share. What's important to your connections? What can you give them of value? Post something. And here's another thing that I learned actually from one of the technical gurus that, he's really plugged into what's happening on the technical side of LinkedIn, is that the best time to post on LinkedIn is late Monday or early Tuesday morning, because the LinkedIn system goes through a refresh at midnight Pacific time on Sunday. So if you post early in the week, your post is going to stay there and be visible for longer than if you wait till Thursday or Friday to post and then they do a refresh on Sunday.
Wow.
Or whatever that's worth. So I try to post early in the week. Because I do think, knowing that, it makes sense to me that if you got something to say, post it early in the week so that it gets out there and gets a better circulation.
Cool. Then the post that I did this morning will probably get some good circulation. Yay.
Yay, I just did one this morning too.
Yay. Okay. So we're going to wrap this up, and let me say thank you so very much for sharing your expertise.
My pleasure.
Hey, like you said before, I cannot know every single thing about social media. It is just impossible to do.
And it's
So,
always changing.
and it's always evolving, it's always changing, and that indeed is true. So thank you for sharing your time and your expertise with me and everyone today. And give everybody one more time the URL to your website, and the you can just say it, and then the URL to the page where they can get the LinkedIn leverage formula.
Okay, I put the link to the LinkedIn leverage formula in the chat, but it's http linked, LINKED, linked smallbusiness.com/pp/hangout. And Alice will put the link here as well. Now, if you're listening to this and maybe you're brand new to LinkedIn and you're just trying to figure out what is this all about, please go to linkedsmallbusiness.com, LINKED, smallbusiness.com, and get my special report, which indeed is 9 secrets for turning your connections into cash. I'm happy to share that with you and give you a little bit of a kickstart on figuring out how you can actually leverage this to grow your business.
Okay. Well, thank you again so very much. And we'll probably be doing this again, hopefully sometime in the future. And everybody else, have a great afternoon or morning or night or whenever you happen to be watching this. And please tell me in the comments below this video what you would like the next video to be, because I don't want to create content that's only interesting to me. that would defeat the whole purpose. The more engagement and the more feedback I get from the audience, the better I can create content that's relevant to you. So please, in the comments below, like the video, give me a little thumbs up, and please share it with friends, family, even with your enemies. They need help too. And third, just please comment below and let me know what you'd like the next video to be. So that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
And if you do have a question for me, you can always email me at alice@sheersocial.com, or you can go over to my website at Sheer Social, which is Sheer, SHEER SOCIAL.com. That's it. So goodbye, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Alice. Bye for now.